Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, so today we are going to dive into what is it that the divine feminines and the divine masculines, oh, I'm crooked, are looking at from first person that is more collective than we know. So let's have a look. What is it? Divine Creator, thank you for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What is it that the divine feminines are looking at on the journey in an egocentric way that is bigger than what they think? That is not such a personal issue. What is it that we can see? Oh my gosh, union. Literally, we get the Four of Wands, 11-11 union, and long-term 10 of Pentacles. Also, we get the truth of it moving forward or not. So, everybody, public service announcement, divine feminines, your union energies are not within your control. This message is saying ultimately it's more collective, whether you're in union or not, than anything you're doing or not doing. That was pretty straightforward. What can we see as the collective motion that is determining the unions? In that case, we get ecstasy, rapture, flux, amplification. So heart wave resonator, that implies that the heart chakras of the people of the planet need to get to a sufficient level in order for these unions to come in properly. That message harkens back to a couple of years ago, where I was getting the message repeatedly that these unions are meant to be gifts and lessons and examples for community, friends, family. And they don't come in until those around the twins are able to take the unions to heart without ridicule, envy, and being put off by them. Because these unions are so high frequency, the divine timing allows for them to come in when they will be received appropriately by all involved. And discipline, discernment, and order. There's an 11, seal of subtle luminosities. So this also speaks of the collective becoming and the way that the energetics are being shown through the rate of how these unions progress and through the circumstances that they evolve through. So these subtle lessons, the counterparts, part of the twin flame mission on the planet these days is to translate the energies, to document, to witness what we are being shown through the becoming, through these circumstances and events. We are being asked to see it as a collective awakening, a collective motion. And it's bringing to light some of the subtle nuance of energy, the things that would be missed if we were not focused in a prolonged way like we are on this journey. Okay, what can we see for the divine masculine collective? What are the divine masculines thinking is more personal than it is? Ooh, commitment. The whole concept of commitment. So divine masculines, the pressure's been off. There has been no guilt and shame in the ascension and coming forward or not, and how quickly this is happening or not. This 2022 has been a year of removing the shame and guilt from the masculines, taking the pressure off, allowing for it to be in divine timing and not have to be pressure. as we ascend, this is part of the collective motion. All people are rising up, understanding what warrants true commitment. Commitment is no longer synonymous with duty. True commitment is something based on connection. And so, divine masculines, you're seeing that your ability to be faithful, monogamous, all in, you think that that's a personal plight, an intimacy issue on a personal level, but this is saying that that energy is much more collective in its becoming than you have realized. So take the burdensome idea that you're the odd one out somehow regarding commitment, and understand that you are a forerunner, trailblazer for humanity, and the thoughts you think, the ways you assess the circumstances and factors regarding your ability to commit, because you are such a powerhouse. It is a Jedi level exploration that you're under. When a pure being holds a thought, a conscious thought in their mind, they've taken a lower frequency thought captive and have transmuted it into a more love-based alternative version. That is one of the most potent Jedi motions you could get. That's what emanates. That's what changes the collective consciousness. That's what gives permission for others to do the same, to follow suit. So you're not only coming into the new understanding of what is worthy of commitment, but you are also affecting the reality around you, divine masculines. You're no longer willing to pretend that you're all in if you're not. That, divine feminines, is a really beautiful gift, that the masculines are no longer willing to pretend. So just consider for a moment that this whole motion of divine masculines that are not rushing into union, consider that in times of the past they would have faked it. They're no longer pretending. So divine masculines, that is a really beautiful motion right now. What can we see for the collective energy that this touches on? Replenishment, renewal, and restoration. You're actually restoring the energies of true commitment to their rightful place on the planet. That true commitment is a justified thing, a worthy thing. It's not to be taken lightly or fabricated. Okay, so let's get into daily divine masculine reading. I split it to self-interest, secrecy. This is kind of an okay card. It's divine masculines watching, but also seeing how their foundations have done a major turn, major change. There's the Empress and abundance showing up. But what can we see? Thank you, Divine Creator, for bringing through what the divine masculines are thinking of these connections, thinking of their counterpart, feeling on the heart space for these connections, feeling on the heart space for their divine counterpart. What are the divine masculines wishing for their own lives at this time and these connections? What are the divine masculines doing in their own lives at this time? And towards these connections, what is the biggest challenge? What is the spirit guided solution? And where are the connections going in the near future? Conscious mind for the connections. Ooh, a bit of anxiety about embodying this King of Wands divine masculine energy. Knight of Wands. So, ooh, Knight of Wands is my player card. It is the sexual temptation card. When I see it in the reverse, I often think that there's a streamlining, that there's not such a naive exploration of sexuality, like, dare I say, can't get it up for just anyone anymore. Has to be true connection, like no other connection will do other than a real bona fide connection. And King of Wands in the reverse, this is my monogamous king. When the Knight of Wands turns into the King of Wands, I personally read that as though they have become empowered sexually to be monogamous. They're in service. This is a shamanic energy where they have accepted the ability to represent as a diplomat under heaven, that they have embodied the soul, that they can lead others through that rite of passage. And that kind of service in the world also brings with it the ability to be monogamous authentically. So the Knight of Wands often can dabble in multiple energies and play the field to get a cross section of what is available, what is out there. Once that starts streamlining into a preference, there cannot be so much exploration because of karmic backlash or just losing interest. And in this case, I'm getting that the divine masculines are not turned on by objectified sexual encounters, things where there isn't true connection. There might be some anxiety about this. Even with karmic partners, I'm hearing they're just not able to anymore. Or scenarios, if they've been single and dating, maybe they're not able to have casual sex anymore. There needs to be something more significant. But they're having a little bit of anxiety because I just heard for some they've fantasized about you, divine feminine, so much so that you've become their kink. Ooh. And they're wondering if that has been inappropriate because maybe they've tried to connect with someone else and feel like this connection has created something bad or undesirable in their ability to experience other people. So divine masculines, don't worry, it just is showing you that your divine feminine is the one for you. But that's an intense message to come up. It's a bit frightful for the masculines right now because something has shown them that they cannot be satisfied. It's scaring them a little bit. They can't be satisfied by anything other than true connection now. I wanted to go, hey, perfect. Oh my goodness. Okay, what can we see for how the divine masculines are thinking of their divine counterpart? Wow, we get the 10 of Swords clarified by the 5 of Swords. Whenever I get half of an equation, the 10 and the 5 of the same suit, I'll often look at the accountability of each counterpart. So the divine masculines are thinking about how they have contributed or sabotaged or looked at this connection in a way that has perpetuated an abandonment or separation, segregation mindset. They're looking at how the things that they have seen you do, divine feminine, or say, have contributed to distance or whatnot. They're utilizing their free will to see what is their accountability and what might be other. Yeah, here's a feminine walking away. So they're seeing how they could sabotage this or have, and how you've walked away or would be justified to do so. If you have or haven't, it doesn't matter here so much. They see their contribution and they see what that's done to you or could rightfully do to you that would cause this abandonment to happen. It goes hand in hand with what they're thinking in general about the connection, that there is no other counterpart that does it for them like you do. Theoretically, I just heard, and now it might be because they haven't been seeing it this way. It's like their mind, body, and soul is aligning. And it's sort of impressing upon them in a more physical way that they could stand to lose you. And this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for true connection. Something recently has shown them that it might not be as guaranteed. Like they took the energy for granted in some ways. I'm just hearing intimacy issues again. It's a heavy energy, I'm not gonna lie. It feels like a lot of mental turmoil and trying to figure out what is positive and what isn't, what is a healthy way to look at these connections and what isn't. They're rethinking connection in general right now, and what is healthy and what isn't. They're also looking at examples from you, Divine Feminine, as to what they've seen you approving of or disapproving of, so to speak, through your actions and words. What can we see for the masculine's heart space for these connections? 10 of Cups and 7 of Cups in the reverse. They're seeing that this is true happiness, true peace. They're seeing how that hasn't always appealed to them. They've wanted more drama than that. That they've been restless, that they haven't wanted to settle into these connections. They've been resisting. That can be mirrored with the feminine's worthiness. The High Priestess here in the reverse, this can be a reflection. It's kind of a ricochet. I don't know if it's a chicken or an egg, feminines, with your own belief of worthiness, but if you have not felt worthy or haven't come through knowing your worth, your divine counterpart may have picked up on it being too good to be true at certain stages on the journey, that it held all the potential for the real thing, but they felt uneasy about it. This is coming into a readiness to actually prefer the peace and joy that's available in these connections. There is no blame in the messages that I'm just bringing through. It's more of an indicator of energy. And so instead of putting storylines to it that would say the Divine Feminine is at fault for not feeling worthy and pushing the masculine away, we can see that collectively feminines were objectified, and there's been a lot of dynamics on the planet that has been unschooling what we thought we knew about relationships. And it's coming into energetics, true connection. But it goes hand in hand. So divine masculines, you've been resisting the real thing as a mirror of your feminine sphere. So it hasn't actually been, even though there's been the potential for this to be the real thing, it hasn't actually been authentic, or accessible. And so you weren't totally wrong, divine masculines, to fear it was too good to be true. Kudos. And this is a really a real thing, that there have been these subtle energies being processed. Divine feminines, though, your worthiness isn't necessarily the whole story. We can tell ourselves a story that we perceive that we might not feel desirable enough. And yet, if we get out of the way of our own I don't feel desirable, we could simply interpret the energy as it's not time yet, without putting that storyline to it. So this is a very intricate theme that's been coming up in the last few days. about attaching personal storylines to things. And here it is, really front row and center. When we get an opportunity to classify something we're observing as a glass half full or half empty sort of storyline, the interesting thing that's not talked about often enough is that the accurate read on the energy that's happening in the moment is that cutting edge between those two storyline options. So when you are feeling to tell a story, positive or negative, half glass, half full or half empty, pay attention to the theme that you're considering describing in those ways. That's what the baseline energy is. If we can get the storylines out of the way and learn to see the baseline energy, we're really on to a more essential indication of what's really there. What are the masculines wishing for these connections? Victory in love, victory to allow this love to be there, to celebrate it confidently, to have the aha moments, to feel the energy moving forward. They're wishing, this is a card, the Six of Wands, is public recognition. So some might be seeing that there's momentum coming in. We don't have the Chariot yet. We might get it later on in this reading. Hanged Man in the reverse means that there has been some consciousness about the truth of the connection. There's a T in the trunk of the tree and a letter Y in the rope that hangs the man there. So these truths, the reasons why, have been shown. And this feels like it's happening in the scenarios. It feels like there is momentum towards this love, and it's becoming more recognized in the community. The affiliation of the two is emerging. The understanding that the connection between the two is deeper than others may have at first suspected. There's something like that. There's a progressive understanding that others are becoming aware of, or there is a merging, a crossover in the external world. And divine masculines are wishing to do this in a conscious way. They've never been so conscious of connections and how they relate to community. They've never had such a significant connection that has warranted this much conscious understanding. All other connections have been naive and immature. Comparison. By comparison. What are the masculines' actions in their own lives at this time? Prince of Wands and the Devil. I'm hearing victory over sexual impulses. We got that message in the first few cards. Their actions, they're starting to see that they are reclaiming their sexual impulses. So even though they are going through a little bit of a rude awakening about their sexual desire regarding divine feminine versus other energies, they are feeling empowered by that because they are seeing the light. I wouldn't even put it past some of the masculines to have come to these awarenesses and epiphanies in real time while I'm reading this. Literally, it may be just the energy of the day bringing these kinds of themes to light. So yeah, divine masculines are overcoming the devil energies and seeing how they are starting to align mind, body, soul energetically with their sexuality, and that their preferences are becoming more and more authentic to them. And they're being shown why those things are justified because of the true connection here. What is the action the masculines are taking towards the connection? Oh wow, we get the sun again. There's so much awareness coming in. They're being awoken to the fact that they don't feel single, even though you're not in necessarily a formal relationship. They see that energetically you are connected. So yes, divine masculines are very much understanding that they have an energetic connection with you that is not necessarily something that they have had to say was a commitment or whatnot. And the Chariot moving forward, there's this dark horse is rearing up that represents the shadow side. So they are teasing out some of this shadow energy, the sun in the reverse. They're diving deep, digging deep into what this is, that they don't feel single regarding you. Yeah, this is them with other feminine energies around. They're no longer feeling the pull to those energies, and they're literally, even though you're not in a relationship necessarily in a traditional sense, they are feeling like they simply don't prefer those other energies over you, even if you're not in a commitment, a traditional commitment. They do not feel single. I just heard sexually, I'm yours. They are overcoming the devil energy regarding that assessment. In the past, they might have thought, like, who do that voodoo that you do so well, Divine Feminine? And now they're seeing that it's because you are the choice. I'm hearing again, my body doesn't lie. What is the biggest challenge for the masculines? Justified sexual connection. I just heard because they want to run willy-nilly, run amok in the world and experience their divinity freely, but at the same time, that doesn't do it for them anymore. This is the simple truth. I'm just hearing that it would take this level of profound experience for the divine to show them who their match is in no uncertain terms. Really interesting. So the masculines are finally getting it, that you are their person, because they cannot deny that you're the one that does it for them. What is the solution to this challenge? Stop blocking union. Two of Swords is the card of blockage, and union in the reverse here. I got that. And then the Two of Swords in the reverse. Stop blocking union. Allow this, divine masculines. If you're watching, see where it can go. See where it goes. Allow it. Allow it to play out and run its course. Radical acceptance. If this is what is happening, allow the exploration of it. And if the intensity dwindles, then you'll know. If it doesn't, then you'll know. Allow it. Show up, divine masculines, in this. Say yes is the message. What is the direction of these connections? Divine guidance and the Chariot. This is a beautiful depiction of the Chariot, but wait for these keys. Wait for the truth. Wait for legal matters to be final. Wait for justice to be served. Wait for the knowledge to be clear. Wait for the keys to be shown, and move forward when it's time. So there is a preparation and readiness for union coming in from the masculine side here. But divine masculines, you're not meant to rush it. You're not meant to force it. You're not meant to prematurely go towards it. You are meant to do that when it's justified, but it's coming. It is on its way. You will be given the keys. You'll know. You'll see the signs. The Chariot can be moving, and so we did get it a couple of times. It can be travel and can be moving. So those travel plans and moving can be factors that will determine divine masculines, the timing. Okay, really interesting. Let's get one more card for the collective. The Wild Woman came out in the reverse. Cool artwork. I want to do a gypsy war cry. I could be really loud. I'm that one. If you ever hear anybody doing stuff like that in a crowd, it's me. Okay, 62. When the Wild Woman dances into your reading, she reminds you of the essence of authenticity and freedom. Divested of all social constraints and cultural conformity, the Wild Woman holds up a mirror to your essential self, the true essence of who you are and who you're meant to become. She is a reminder of the bright light within each of us that gets dimmed by the restrictions imposed upon us by the expectations of society. She reminds us that in order to be fully present to life, we must uncover the light and let it shine brightly, regardless of the perceived consequences. Yeah, divine masculines, you are so lucky to have a wild woman in your life. And wild women, your masculines, are so lucky to be appointed by you, to be acknowledged as divine by you. For you to see that light in your masculine, they are so lucky. And you to experience yourself this way. What a beautiful, liberated thing. Okay, so it came out in the reverse. I'm going to read. Excess for its own sake is a sign of imbalance. This is the warning that you may be trapped in obsessive thinking or behavior, looking for release in places that will never provide it. Okay, so if you're acting out, being demonstrative just to get attention, divine feminines, calm yourself. There are some who are very obtrusive just because they fear that they are invisible. Work on that. See yourself for this incredible, liberated, feminine energy you are, and don't act out, divine feminines. That acting out is chasing. When it's coming from an authentic point of origin, it's authenticity. When it's contrived, it's chasing. Let go, lest you become like the hungry ghost of the Chinese Buddhist lore that can never be fulfilled. True release comes from trusting the fluidity of life, understanding that just as a river needs its banks to flow through, so too do you need boundaries around your thinking and behavior. Now is the time to simplify, be mindful, and connect to the light within. Union within, no acting out, trusting that the journey, the time is there. Hold the space and allow, be receptive. Don't overdo it, divine feminines. Okay, many blessings. Bye for now.